Hello, welcome to News Now on TV360. I am Fidelia Aguncha. Tragedy struck on Thursday in Nigeria's southwestern region as two separate accidents claimed 9 lives. The first was at the popular Kara Bridge along the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, which led to the death of 5 people. It was reportedly caused by a tanker loaded with 33,000 liters of diesel, which rammed into a stationary truck carrying brewery products. 15 people sustained injuries in the attack, which involved 16 vehicles and resulted in an inferno. The second accident was caused by a derailing train at the Abuja area of Agege. 4 people were confirmed dead in that incident. Meanwhile, another 18 persons have been confirmed dead in multiple bombing attacks in Maiduguri, capital of Borno State, northeast Nigeria. According to spokesperson of the Borno State Police Command, Victor Isuku, the incident, which happened on Wednesday evening, involved 4 suicide bombers. The first explosion occurred at a prayer ground, while the other explosions occurred thereafter or within the community. A total of 18 persons, including the 4 suicide bombers, died in the multiple explosions, while 29 others sustained injuries. Benin Republic has now joined its fellow West African neighbors in the fight against Boko Haram insurgency. The country has sent 150 soldiers to join the multinational Joint Task Force fighting the sect. The MNJTF is to fight the sect in areas around the Lake Chad Basin region. The task force is now made up of soldiers from Nigeria, Chad, Cameroon, Niger, and Benin Republic. The Nigerian government has confirmed the killing of 2 of its citizens in South Africa. The 2 Nigerians killed are Ikechukwu Mmanwoke Edmund, an indigene of Anambra State who was murdered in front of his home in Marvin, and Eluka Agu, who was beaten to death during a robbery alongside some unidentified person in Olivenhout-Bosch. In a statement, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs said it is in contact with the South African authorities as it continues to investigate the matter. The statement, signed by a spokesperson of the ministry, also commiserated with the families of the victims. The African Union is rejecting the Zimbabwe government by the military. The army had on Wednesday placed the President Robert Mugabe under house arrest, but insisted it was not a coup. Neighbor South Africa has already sent envoys to mediate with both parties, though Mugabe has reportedly rejected an offer to resign. The AU on its part is insisting on a return to the constitutional order. Nigeria's Senate has pushed deliberations on the 2018 budget to next Wednesday. The document submitted by the President on November 7 must be approved by both sections of the National Assembly before it comes into law. Senate President Bukola Saraki, during plenary on Thursday, ordered that copies of the bill must be delivered to senators on Monday so that debate will begin on Wednesday. The document is proposing a record 8.612 trillion naira budget for the 2018 fiscal year. The Nigerian police has finally reacted to the withdrawal of the security aids to Anambra Governor Willie Obiano days before the state governorship election. The governor raised alarm about the sudden withdrawal of his aides, prompting the Senate and President Muhammadu Buhari to order the Inspector General of Police to restore the security aids. However, in its own statement on Thursday, the police says the aides were not withdrawn, but were only called to the police command headquarters in Oka to attend a lecture. The statement adds that the aides returned back after the lecture and were not withdrawn as implied by the governor. The staff of Nigeria Telecommunications Ntel, who were allegedly disengaged by the authorities, have staged a peaceful protest at the Federal High Court in Abuja, the nation's capital. They are demanding payment of their 7-year salary arrears, which according to them run into billions of naira. They allege that efforts to get management of Ntel to pay their entitlements since 2011 have proved abortive.
We want to use this medium to call on EFCC, ICPC to please investigate the sales of Ntel. The $250 million sold, there's a 10% that's supposed to be kept as a contingencies. The 10% cannot be accounted for. Yet they continue to tell us that they don't have money to pay. They don't have money to pay. So we are using this medium, pleading with the ICPC and EFCC and other security agency, National Assembly and civil societies, presidency, to please come to our aid.
They have not given any reason so far. They said they disengaged them and they are not bringing any document to show that they disengaged them. And even if you are disengaged them, they are not showing anything to show that they have paid them. And then they cannot labor without getting their reward. If you say you have disengaged them, bring the papers. If you say they have paid them up, bring the paper and show them. And these are old men. They can't be coming to court and be claiming when they have paid them and disengaged them. It's not possible.
The Federal High Court in Abuja has fixed December 8 to rule on a breach of fundamental human rights suit filed by Patience Jonathan, wife of former President Goodluck Jonathan. Jonathan is asking the court to compel the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) to respect her fundamental right of privacy, dignity and fair hearing, which she says have been serially violated. The former First Lady is also demanding 2 billion naira from the anti-graft agency as general damages and compensation for the violation of her rights.
Yeah, relax. That is my brother and I want him out of this station now.
We have proceed.
Okay. Can I just see the IPO of this case? IPO, how are you?
No, welcome, sir.
That is my brother and I want him out of this station now.
Do you know the offense he has committed, sir?
What do you guys want for your weekend? Okay, let me see your DPO.
This way, sir.
Oh, better. You don't know me here. That boy is my brother and I want you to assist me to free him.
The man found the gun, confessed to robbery.
Things like this happen. 200,000 naira for you.
Are you bribing me?
500,000 naira.
Robbery suspect?
1 million naira.
That is corruption. Not allowed in this division.
1 million.
Remember,
Police is your friend. Giving and taking bribe is wrong.
corruption not in my country.
Stop corruption now.
Corruption not in my country.
Welcome back. It's time for Business Stories with Ngozi Okoye.
Thank you, Fidelia. Nigeria has raised 119.9 billion naira at the Treasury bill auction on Wednesday after allocating almost 90% of the debt to the long maturities. The central bank sold 107.93 billion naira of one-year debt at the rate of 15.60%, 43.26 billion naira more than it had initially offered to sell in that maturity. Investors bid as high as 18.23% for the one-year paper. However, the government has been offering debt at lower yields to track declining inflation, which fell for the 9th month in October to 15.91%. The Federal High Court in Abuja has reviewed the interim forfeiture order placed on bank's account without bank verification number (BVN). The same court had on October 17 ordered an interim forfeiture of monies in account without BVN in 19 commercial banks in the country. The court has now modified the order, saying some parts of the initial order have been posing some practical problems, hence the need for modification. The BVN registration exercise was introduced and begun in February 2014 to curb theft and fraud. Earlier in 2017, the CBN extended the registration exercise to microfinance banks and other financial institutions on the request of Nigeria Finance Minister Kemi Adeosun. Oil prices held steady in Thursday trading as expectations that OPEC will extend output cuts to offset the impact of rising U.S. crude production and inventories. Oil prices have slipped in recent days from the two-year highs hit last week. This is believed to follow signs that U.S. supply is rising fast and could potentially undermine OPEC's efforts to tighten the market. Brent crude oil was down 41 cents a barrel at $61.46, while U.S. light crude fell 20 cents to $55.13. The Nigeria Stock Exchange managed to rise above reds as its all-share index appreciated by 0.05% to close at 36,634.89. Ironically, the equity capitalization saw an uprise of over 70 billion naira to close at 12.75 trillion naira. The four top advances for the day were Mobile, 7-Up, International Breweries, and PZ Corsons. And the four top decliners were Seplat Petroleum Development Company Limited, Guinness, Nascon Allied Industry PLC, and Dangote Sugar. The top traders in terms of volume had Nigeria Breweries, Zenith Bank, Access, and First Bank of Nigeria Holdings taking the lead. The market had 217.750 million shares, exchanged 11.705 billion naira in 3,008 deals. And that's it on business. We'll return with more stories after the break. Stay with us.
Corruption not in my country.
Give him his shoes somewhere here. His phone and everything.
Don't do like that today, no.
Thank you. So, bye-bye. Hey,
Why do you
Oga, where do you think you are going? Ho!
You never shake body.
Eh?
You never shake body.
Shake body, see?
Eh? You never shake body.
Eh?
You never shake body.
I don't get combo for my body.
You go take for here. Sit down there.
Down. Akoma,
What's this man still doing here?
they say I do shake body. I shake body, I shake body. They say I do this. And I say I don't get combo.
You are asking for money.
Sorry, ma'am.
Asking for money to bail a suspect is an act of corruption. Both of you will be punished. Corruption is not allowed within the force. Remember,
Police is your friend. Giving and taking bribe is wrong.
corruption not in my country.
Stop corruption now.
Corruption not in my country.
Glad to have you back. Egyptian security forces killed 3 suspected militants and arrested 74 others in raids targeting militant group in North Sinai in recent days. The military did not name a specific militant group or release the names of those killed, but said the militants were highly dangerous. Egypt faces an Islamist insurgency led by the Islamic State group in the Sinai Peninsula, where hundreds of soldiers and police have been killed since 2013. As part of their raids, security forces destroyed 5 four-wheel drive vehicles and 4 storage sites used to manufacture improvised explosive devices. The United Nations says the number of hungry people in sub-Saharan Africa rose by 10% to 224 million in 2016, largely due to conflict and climate change. The UN Food and Agriculture Organization said swaths of Africans have been hit by prolonged drought and floods over the last year, worsened by lower commodity prices and a sluggish global economy. It also noted that hunger is above twice as prevalent in countries with long-running conflicts than in peaceful nations. Moving on to the world of sports now, Nigerian Super Eagles are facing the possibility of a tough World Cup group after an unfavorable seeding. The Eagles have been placed in pot 4 and are facing the likelihood of being placed in the same group as the previous 2 World Cup winners, Germany and Spain. Both countries are in pot 1 and 2 respectively, as are Brazil and England. The seeding were done based on the FIFA rankings except in the case of the host country Russia, who were placed in pot 1 based on their status as host. The main draw is expected to take place in November 1 in Moscow. Nigeria Super Eagles will on Friday know their group phase opponents at the 5th African Nations Championship. Nigeria have been slotted into Pot 2 alongside Cameroon, Guinea and Zimbabwe. The competition will hold in Morocco from January 13, 2018. It will be the 5th edition of the tournament, though Nigeria has only participated in the last 2 editions. The West African nation's best result in the tournament is a 3rd place finish in 2014. The World Anti-Doping Agency WADA said on Thursday that Russia remains non-compliant with its code, dealing a major blow to the country's hopes of being cleared to compete at February's Winter Olympics. Russia's anti-doping agency RUSADA has been suspended since a WADA report in 2015 found evidence of state-sponsored doping and accused it of systematically violating anti-doping regulations. WADA set out a roadmap for Russia to regain its status, but at a meeting of its foundation board in Seoul on Thursday, decided that key criteria had not been met by the nation. Well, that's all on news now. Thanks for watching. I am Fidelia Aguncha.